Every mystery leaves a trace, a clue, a rumor, a piece of evidence history forgot to explain. This is the Enigma Files, where every story is true, every theory is on the table, and nothing is ever fully closed.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is 2026. How weird is that?
Crazy.
We time traveled.
Yeah,
our last episode was last year.
And Tony, wait, we're wearing the same clothes as we were
We are
a year ago.
If you're watching this online, we're gonna let you behind the curtain.
If you're watching on Spotify or listening on Spotify, you're going, "What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?" So, okay. We're going to be completely transparent. We filmed these. We recorded these back. We recorded these back to back. So you're hearing this in 2026.
I mean, people don't think that we recorded the Christmas tree ship on Christmas, do they?
We were pretty close. We weren't too far off. We weren't too far off. So peel the curtain back. We're knocking these out all in the same day. Plus, it's easy to keep the train of thought. But we split it between two episodes. So, Sorry, guys. You're hearing this a week later. So, for you, it is 2026.
Right.
Happy New Year. Happy 2026. Hope you were all safe and enjoyed New Year's.
And you made good choices.
This is part 2 of the
so if for
Circleville
some
Letters.
reason you clicked on this and didn't listen to part 1, go back, listen to part 1, and then come back here.
Yeah, don't do it in reverse because you're going to be really confused. Spoiler, yeah. And it's a huge case. It's our first time splitting in the 2 episodes. We had to. There was no way to cover all of this. And we're going to recap it for you. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean not to go listen to part 1 because I'm only going to recap a very small amount.
Yeah.
And the small amount is this. You have a town in Ohio called Circleville, a woman named Mary Gillespie. She is a bus driver, a mom, a wife. She goes to her mailbox. She starts to receive letters that are written in block style, no return address. The stamp on it is from Columbus, Ohio, which was a ways away, a little bit of a drive. They're not signed. They accuse her of having an affair with a Macy, who is the school superintendent, and basically says you need to tell everybody. Her husband Ron now starts to get letters saying you're complicit in this, you know about it, blah blah blah. He doesn't do anything. The letters start to expand to, leaders in the community, teachers, all this stuff. Ron gets a phone call in the middle of the night. Now it's like a year or it's some time later. Like it's later on. Years have gone by. We don't know who's on the other end of the line other than that Ron hangs up the phone, says, I know who the letter writer is. He grabs his gun, jumps in his car, gets just a little ways down the road, crashes into a tree, and is found dead. His gun has fired 1 round. There's never any ballistics that are done to confirm where this round was fired, why it was fired. They do a blood alcohol. It's found that Ron is legally drunk, so he's driving under the influence. And the chief of police very quickly says, hey, this is an accident. The letters don't stop. They start to say that the chief of police is covering this up. They continue to the point where there starts to be signs placed on the road, pretty vulgar signs directed towards Mary, whose husband is now dead, to the point where it starts to make things, very vulgar statements against her daughter. And we ended the episode where Mary's in her bus on her route. She sees a sign with a vulgar statement towards her daughter. She jumps out to rip the sign down and finds a box attached to the back of it with a firearm that is rigged to fire when the sign is, manipulated, torn down, however you want to say it. It's a miracle she happened to interact with it in a way that did not trigger this booby trap. And that's where we stopped.
Yeah.
So you got the recap, but if you want the details, go back and listen to episode 1 if you didn't. But that's where we're at. It's a lot. And if you thought that was a lot, oh, buckle up. Because it's about to get even weirder. Anything you want to add from episode 1, Paul, that I might have missed? All right. Well, we're going to jump in. It's the 1980s now, because remember this started in the mid to late 70s. Now we're into the 80s. It's 1983. The sign is found with a gun. As you can imagine, the residents of Circleville are like, we need answers. Mm-hmm. We need to know who this is. So police get involved. They look at the firearm. The serial number was crudely attempted to destroy the serial number.
Right.
They did a lousy job because they could read the serial number.
Yeah.
And here's where you talk about things taking a turn. The gun goes back to Mary Gillespie's brother-in-law, a man by the name of Paul Freshour. I'm not sure if I'm totally pronouncing it right, but for the sake of this, that's how I'm going to pronounce it.
That's how I've heard it. So
okay. Obviously, this is a lead. There's been no leads prior to this. People are throwing accusations, but there's no leads. So the gun goes back to a family member. So the police go, and obviously they're going to investigate this. Paul says, I'm innocent. My gun was stolen. Here's the problem with this. He never filed a police report.
I was going to say, for anyone that doesn't understand like firearm ownership, you are required by law, if your gun is stolen, to let the police know and file a police report. Because if your weapon is ever used in a crime, you need to have the paperwork that says that I am no longer in possession of that weapon before the crime was committed.
So, yeah. So the gun traces to him. He never filed a report. He just says, my gun was stolen.
Yeah.
He denies that he wrote the letters.
Okay.
They begin to kind of dig into Paul. They interview his boss, and his boss says, oh, yeah, the day that this sign was out there, that this booby trap sign, Paul didn't come to work.
That's weird.
That's very weird. There are rumors of family conflict. Mm-hmm. Nothing, again, we're going to be careful with the rumors. We talked about this because there's a lot of rumors with this. So I just want to I'm going to, again, make this blanket statement. We're going to tread carefully and let you know what we know and what is rumor. The rumor is that there's family issues between Paul and his wife and Mary and Ron, and there's all sorts of things that were kind of put out there as you know, rumors and things that we can't prove. But what we do know is that it was his gun and that he did not go to work the day of this event. Extremely weird.
Yeah. He
is denying, though, any involvement. So the police, and this is where things, you talk about really weird things. The police decide, well, if the gun's yours, you didn't report it stolen, you didn't go to work, did you write these letters? I know you're saying you didn't. So they sit down and they have him, this is so weird, they have him attempt to copy the handwriting from the letters.
Yeah.
How this stands up in court?
Well, which you don't have someone there that is like a handwriting expert. This is the sheriff who's already being said is corrupt.
Yeah.
Having him recreate the writing like these letters,
And
and
by the
then
way,
deems that it's the same.
And some of the some of the stuff, he's reading the letters to him and having him write
Just
it back
write
out.
them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's such a bad
Yeah.
look. Like
Mhm.
it's horrible, horrible. Like just the police work at this point by this chief of police, it's not being done very well.
Yeah. Is this Mayberry?
Yeah, so they do have handwriting analysis that's run. They say it could be similar ish, like, and to be clear, everything that I am not a legal expert on any of this, but just from the things that you look at, handwriting analysis is so open to interpretation. Um, you asked him, number one, to copy it.
Yeah.
So
of course it's going to look similar.
There should be similarities. You asked him to do that. So this is where, like, things get really weird. But
I do want to add that he was previously very vocal about Mary's alleged affair, which also kind of put him on the suspect list.
Yeah, there's a lot of things where while I say the handwriting didn't add up, why weren't you at work? Why didn't you report your gun stolen? Now there were no fingerprints found on the firearm. There were no eyewitnesses that said we saw him put these signs up. There's no eyewitnesses that say we saw him driving to Columbus, Ohio to drop letters off. None of that is ever found, like as far as evidence is found. So you have a lot of things that kind of go in Paul's favor and a lot of things that go against him that make you go, something's weird.
It's not one of those where it's like, oh, this is obvious, this is the culprit. There's things that you go, okay, I can see that, but then there's other things that it's like, wait, I have a question about that.
Yeah, it's very circumstantial evidence.
Yes.
This case is going to be built, you're going to hear, is built on very circumstantial evidence. So they try him. He is tried. Paul is arrested, not for writing the letters, but he's arrested on attempted murder charges. So he's charged in this case, but not as the letter writer. Just want to be clear on that as we go through this. He is tried and convicted of attempted murder, and he is sentenced to between 7 to 25 years in prison. Again, circumstantial evidence. So here were the things. Now, here's what's horrible. These letters that he was not found, he was not charged as the letter writer. He was not found anything with the letter writing in a court of law. They read the letters in court. The letters were read.
Which is wild.
Like, dude, Paul, what is up with your, lawyer?
Yeah.
Like, how this stuff was admitted. So, factors in the verdict and how he was found guilty was that he owned the gun, the proximity to the family. So, if you remember, a lot of the details that were written and shared was private information. So, it would be information that a family member would possibly know.
Yeah.
And remember, he had what he's convicted of is posting this sign that made vulgar statements about the daughter, private things about the daughter. I'm not going to tell you what's on the sign.
No.
Don't Google it. Don't do it. But that was where they said, because it's a family member, he would have been able to come up with these things. And the fact that, again, they had him try to copy the handwriting, not being charged as the letter writer, but they used it against him in this case and said, see, while we can't charge him with this, he definitely was a part of it.
Yeah, that's weird.
Things that were absent, there was no DNA, no fingerprints, ballistics linkage to him as being the handler of the firearm is not found. They can't confirm his claim that the gun was stolen, but they can't say that it wasn't stolen.
Like you said, all circumstantial.
And then, there's this proof that it was him. Like it's circumstantial. Like there's nothing to say. So the jury just went off of this. The letters are read. It's got to be a family member because it's private information, alleged private information. Some of it may have been true. Some of it might not have been. It's his gun. He knew Mary's route. He knew her routines. He knew all this stuff. And then you go back to Ron, who was Mary's husband who died. He recognized the caller and said, I know who the letter writer is. Well, it would have been his brother-in-law.
It had to be someone close that you would immediately recognize the voice.
Right. So you'd fill in the case of, would he know his brother-in-law's voice? Well, yeah.
I think a lot of blanks were filled in by the jury.
I think they were led to fill in blanks. I think you had a very poor defense that went up against the prosecution, and the defense did a bad job of poking holes in this case. Now, some of it is, again, like we said, Paul didn't go to work the day of the signs. He claims he has an alibi. He did not take the stand to defend himself. So just for this case. So while he claimed, well, I have this alibi, he never got on the stand to defend himself, which I think was probably a mistake in this case. Again, I'm not a legal expert. I'm just giving you my opinion. Why would he file down the serial number on his own firearm? I guess you can make the case of, well, because he was going to use it. Okay. I don't know. There's just a lot of things. And then to allow these letters that he is not charged in writing.
Yeah.
And as evidence against him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a problem. So he's convicted 7 to 25 years in prison for attempted murder. And you would think, man, this was a short episode too.
Yeah.
But we ain't done.
Thanks, everyone. Do the algorithm thing. See you later.
Yeah.
No, we're not done. No.
Because guess what continues? The letters continue to be sent. And oh, by the way, Paul Freshour receives letters in jail.
Well, and Paul Freshour is not in prison in Columbus, Ohio, but the letters still are being postmarked from Columbus.
He's in I believe it was Lima.
Yeah, he was in Lima.
The prison was in Lima, incarcerated. And by the way, this is important. He spends most of it in solitary confinement.
Yeah.
So, to somebody going, well, he could have written the letters and so he receives letters in jail.
Mm-hmm. Well, and so because I know this from personal experience, I've heard people say, well, he could have passed them along to someone that was visiting him and they could have sent them out. So I had a relative that was in prison. And my mom took us to go visit this relative. And I'm going to tell you right now, my mom hugged this person, as they said, too long. And my mom was frisked on the way out of the prison because she hugged this person too long. There's no way Paul was going to get letters out of this prison to an accomplice, in my opinion.
And that was investigated. And it was found that his outgoing mail and ingoing, obviously his incoming mail, because they found the letters, was monitored. He spent most of the time in solitary confinement because they thought he was the letter writer, as these letters are being still sent. They found no evidence of that he was passing things or that he had somebody that he was interacting with in jail to do this. So, right away, you're like, what the heck is going on? To the point where a letter was sent to a TV journalist, and basically it just said, you know, are you going to believe us now? When we set you up, it sticks.
And the letter writer basically said, we framed Paul Freshour.
And I want to point out a key word: we.
Yeah, we.
So now the letter writer is starting to open this up as a conspiracy level of multiple people involved.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it's starting to use terms like we. So, again, the inmate was being monitored. There's no record of outgoing letters matching the Circleville style, and the police can't identify an accomplice. They do not know how this is going on. But here's Paul going in jail going, I'm getting letters, and it's claiming that it's a setup. Like, that they set me up. I'm the fall guy. See, I told you. So he is screaming it that I'm innocent. You know, man, this is just it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And again, a lot of the material that they're using that's highly subjective. This handwriting analysis, highly subjective. There's no DNA. They're doing blind comparative tests to the documents. Many of the original letters, so here's part of the problem. They were either lost or they were poorly archived. So, like, I know people might be thinking, like, right now, like, this could be real easy. Let's go do a DNA test. They lost a lot of the letters, or they were mishandled. And so it makes DNA testing today very difficult to do because the chain of custody was not well maintained. So when you look at this from a standpoint, so remember I said in episode 1, we get very conspiratorial. What's the easiest way to make this stick? Oh, the police did a bad job. So if you're jumping on the conspiracy bandwagon that the chief of police was out to get him because it was a cover-up, and there's a deeper thing going on, and they set him up, this we in the letter, man, you are not making this go away. And here was one of the other things that happened is once Freshour was identified as a suspect and they zeroed in on him, alternative suspects, the search for alternative suspects basically stopped. I have a note that just basically says confirmation bias kicked in. Like there was just this, we got him. We can't prove that he was the letter writer, but we got him. To the point where 7 years goes by. So Paul's sitting in prison. Letters are being sent to journalists, to people in the town still, to Paul himself, to Freshour. He comes up for parole and he's denied 7 years in.
Which is wild.
Well, what's even more wild is the reason that he was denied. They used the letters because the volume of letters against him.
Yeah.
And so he served more time for already kind of I'm going to say a suspect case, a very circumstantial case. He got more time added on to him. So he serves more time. I think he ends up serving 9 years.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. So he is eventually just so we know he is eventually released from prison, and the letters begin to stop. Finally. Now, I am going to address this because there are rumors out there to this day that the letters have continued to be received, but no one confirms this.
Right.
I don't know if I put a lot of into that.
I think it's more like urban legend.
Copycat, urban legend, absolutely. But he gets out of prison, and to his dying day, Paul passes away in 2012, 70 years of age, denying anything to do with the attempted murder, the death of his brother-in-law, and the letters. He denies it to his dying breath. Not everybody buys it because you have the ownership of the letter, you have access to the family, um, you have all these things that kind of go against Paul's claim. He didn't go to work, you know. So, he's never in the court of public opinion. I'll say this. There's a lot of people who believe that he did have something to do with it.
Yes, if not the main person, a co-conspirator.
Yes. Now, finally, in the mid-90s, the letters that we know of, because remember I said there are urban legends out there, they continued. In the mid-90s, the letters stopped. This would have gone on, though, for decades. Letters being sent for decades. A man goes to jail for almost basically a decade.
Yeah.
On very circumstantial evidence. I told you this case was going to be wild. I told you there was going to be a lot of theories. Letters that went out while he was in jail claiming it was a setup. Multiple letters to both him and to other people claiming that it was a setup and that he was the fault. He was, what was Oswald's line?
Patsy.
I'm a patsy.
He was a patsy.
That he was a patsy. It's a wild case. It's wild. It made a town on edge for decades, like I said.
Multiple decades.
This has been a case that's been on like Unsolved Mysteries. It's all over the place. I mean, I just to give you just a quick timeline. 1976 was the first letter was received. Ron Gillespie dies in 1977, so about a year. So that's Mary's husband. 1983 was when the sign was discovered, that the booby trap sign with the gun. It's 83. 84, Paul Freshour is convicted. 84 into the mid-90s, the letters continued. So the letters continued for close to 20 years. And it wasn't until Paul got out in the mid-90s that the letters stopped or claimed to have stopped. Yeah, this is wild, guys. This is a wild case, which gets into, our theories on this. So let's take it a couple ways, I think. Let's look at Ron Gillespie. Let's look at his death. What's your opinion on his death, Paul? Do you have an opinion on Ron's death? So Ron would be Mary's husband, who died in the car accident. Remember, gets the phone call. They say he was drinking, and he died in an accident. So do you have a theory on, because there's theories that he was murdered, there was theories it was an accident, there was theories on a bunch of things.
Yeah, so I am still undecided on that.
Okay.
I do believe it was potentially foul play.
Okay.
Only because the gun. Now, I'll throw out a scenario. Let's say he's intoxicated. He's going to find this person that he believes is the person that is writing the letters. And let's just say in that intoxication, he thinks he sees someone and he fires the gun while... So this is my accidental death theory. He fires the gun and loses control of the vehicle, runs into a tree. I could see that being something. We don't know what the caller said on the phone. It could be, meet me at, this place. There is a scuffle. The gun is fired. Maybe he knocks Ron out, or whoever it is knocks Ron out. And then, it's easy to then crash the vehicle into a tree. I can see both sides of that. That I'm not 100% like, okay, this is what happened here.
Yeah. So this is a toughie because, like you said, we don't know the phone call.
Mm-mm.
I hinted at it. I said this in episode 1. I'll say it again. I do believe the person on the end of the line was, in fact, the letter writer.
Or at least a co-conspirator.
Somebody involved in it. Yeah. Somebody involved in the letter writing. I believe that to be the case. The family believes that. I agree with them. In enough research, anecdotal research, I believe they're right. I believe it was somebody that was related to it.
Yeah.
I think it sent him over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Was he murdered or was it an accident? I think you laid out a good case for both. And I can't rule either out. I think the most likely, and when I say likely, we're like 51% to 49%. Like,
right.
I am not like, I think the most likely is that it was a tragic accident. Unfortunately, I think in his blind rage of, recognizing who this person was, because remember his comment was, I know who this is. He knew who it was. He felt betrayed. He was already, so if you believe that it wasn't a cover-up, he was already drinking because he was legally over the limit. So you're already impaired. I think it was just a tragic accident where he crashed into the tree. Now, what's weird? The gun. Where was it fired?
Right. And, was it in his hand? Or, we don't know. Really didn't get a lot of that detail. And I'm with you. On this one, I'm going to say the two scenarios I laid out, I would be like 51%. It was the first scenario, that accidental death, 49% conspiracy. And I'm the conspiracy guy. Yeah. So, but I think that's the most logical. And we don't have enough evidence or detail to be able to say one or the other.
And I couldn't find if they actually did this because it sounds like there were really no ballistics done. It was a quick rush to say it was an accident. When was the gun fired?
Yeah, when was it fired? Did he have gunpowder residue on his hand, or in that moment, or yeah,
or does he have a gun that's loaded in his house? He had already fired that round at a different point in time.
Yeah.
Because it says it was a revolver.
Yeah, so it doesn't come out until you take it. It
doesn't discharge that spent casing. So could he have fired it at his house, at a rodent, at a whatever? Like, I'm just giving you a different...
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know. And so what's not made clear is was it a spent round that was already in the gun when he left the house?
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, then it ups the chance that this was an accident significantly. Mm-hmm. But we don't know. And then you got letters being sent that says that the police chief is covering this up. So that adds a level of confusion. I think the most likely unfortunate scenario is this was an accident, but I can't rule out that there was more to it.
Well, and this letter writer has power, right? We've already established that. How much more power does this letter writer have if they can now claim that they are the cause of Ron's death? You now go from having power to having ultimate power.
And I think the important thing to remember is we're looking at this, we're working this backwards, like it's all in, hindsight's 2020.
Right.
So we now know that this writer or writers have the motivation to try to kill because they set a booby trap.
Right.
We don't know that at the time that this happens.
Right.
So they're already looking at a complex way to kill from a distance.
So they already have the ability to even attempt to kill someone.
Yeah, they're willing to have a plan to do this.
Yes.
So that muddies this where looking back, you kind of go, yeah, this could be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, if you just take it as a standalone event, which is what they were looking at it, again, there's a lot of questions. Like, to me, the biggest one is if you can solve the gun, if you can tell me that the gun was fired before he got in the vehicle and that was just a spent casing that was already in this revolver, my leaning to it being an accident goes up higher. But because we can't solve this because there's no ballistics.
Right. We can't verify that to be true.
I can't roll either out with confidence one way or the other. So I think we're kind of on the same path as this one. We're going to save the letters as our last.
There are multiple theories for multiple things in the. Yeah. Let's say this is a wild case.
So let's look at the booby trap.
Okay.
So the booby trap sign on the side of the road that makes some vulgar statements against Mary's daughter that she jumps out of the bus to take apart. It's got Paul's gun. We know it is her brother-in-law's gun attached to it in a box rigged to fire if the sign is taken down a certain way. What's your thought on this one? Was Paul Freshour the guy? Was he a patsy in this case? What's your thought?
All I can say about this, because it's going to kind of bleed into some of my other theories on some of the other stuff, I do not believe Paul Freshour put that gun there. I believe he was framed to put him in prison. That right now, without giving out a little more information about other thoughts that I have, that's all I can really say. Because I think, okay, that's all I'm going to say for now.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go.
I agree. I know it's not as fun. I agree. I don't think he's the one that put the sign out.
Mm-mm.
I don't think he's the one that rigged it to fire. I don't think so. I'm not going to absolve him of everything.
No,
so I'm going to say my theories.
He did some not good things in the, he didn't call the police when it was stolen. He didn't do the things he should have done to protect himself.
Oh, we're going to go deeper than that in my theory.
Okay, let's go.
That's okay. But I believe when he says that I had nothing to do. All right. He told the truth and he lied.
Yes.
He just told the truth and lied about two different things.
Yes.
Okay. He told the truth when he said that
he didn't plant the gun.
Yeah, that's true. He lied about the letters.
But he lied about the letters.
He lied about the letters. Okay, so I just want to get that out there.
Yes, I'm picking up what you were laying down.
Yeah. He lied. He told it was one of these is the truth and one of these is a lie. He told the truth, in my opinion, about the gun.
Absolutely.
There was a conspiracy. Spoiler alert, he didn't act alone. He didn't act alone. So I believe that his intention was not to set up a booby trap with a gun. I believe that legitimately his gun was probably taken. I have a theory on. I'm going to save this to the very end. So I believe that when they said to him, "Did you do this?" He didn't.
He was telling the truth when
he was telling the truth. No. Now, when they said, "Did you write the letters?" Yeah, he was lying.
Or at least had some involvement. Yes,
he had a level of involvement in the letters.
Absolutely.
So when I said I'm not absolving him of everything, he went to jail, rightfully so, because he was part of the letter conspiracy. Mm-hmm. His lawyer stunk because he should never have been convicted for attempted murder.
That lawyer should have never let those letters be read. If that's not part of the what you're being indicted for. Yeah, you should not be able to read them.
And so I think in kind of a horrible round of luck against Paul Freshour, they got one of the letter writers. They just didn't get him on the letter writing.
One person got punished that wrote letters, yes.
Yes. Or at least shared information.
But the person that attempted to kill Mary did not get
go to jail.
punished.
No, I do not. I do not think that
And I have theories on who that is.
I do as well. So we're going to jump. So I think we agree on the sign. Paul was guilty of something, but not of this.
Not the sign.
So let's tackle the letters that were sent over 2.5 decades.
Yeah.
They started with one person and then they expanded out. What are your thoughts on this? What is your theories on this? There's a lot of different theories. I think the easiest way is just to kind of share our thoughts on what it is.
So I have two potential theories. The first one I think could definitely be very real. I think the original letters were not written by Paul and his co-conspirator. I think someone, because the superintendent was also married, I think someone that just knew the two of them started writing the letters. For now, I'm going to say Paul and the co-conspirator, because I don't want to give up who I think it is yet. They started writing the letters because there was a time when the letters kind of stopped and then they picked back up. And that's when they got, more people were getting them. They got very aggressive. It was almost like someone different was writing the letters. That's when I think Paul and his co-conspirator started writing the letters. I believe that his co-conspirator set him up for murder. And that's where I'll leave it for now.
Okay. So we are going to be a little different on this. I think he was always involved from jump.
Okay.
From day one.
Which that could be.
I do not believe that he worked alone.
No.
And I'll give you a couple reasons why. Reasons why I think it was him from jump. They knew stuff about the family. They knew, because it never really gets into Macy, the superintendent. We never really see letters to him, and I could be mistaken if I am, because again, a lot of the letters, so I want to be clear, a lot of the letters were kept private. They were not put out because of the information that was there, rightfully so. So if somebody knows more on this, please share.
Yeah.
I could not find anything where it really dove into Macy's day-to-day life, other than you're married and you're having an affair. Yeah. Mary Gillespie and Ron Gillespie, it was, we know your kids, we know your routine, we know your cars, we know your bus route, we know your this, all the things that family members or people very close to them would have known.
Yeah, for sure.
So I believe right from the jump that Paul was involved, but not by himself. Mm-mm. And the reason that I would say that is because of how the letters were sent. No one saw him drive them to Columbus. Here's the issue. If you start showing up in Columbus when you really aren't supposed to be there over decades, somebody's going to see you. You're going to get noticed. So he had help sending the letters. The letters that I did see, the handwriting seemed to change, especially around the time when he went to jail. Which I think supports the fact that he was the fall guy.
Yeah.
But I believe he was involved from the beginning. And if you look at what the families said, the family said there was always tension between Paul and Paul's wife and Mary and Ron. So Paul's wife would be Ron's sister.
No, it would be Mary's sister.
Oh, Mary's sister. You are correct. It was Mary's sister. Yeah, yes. I apologize. Thank you. In my head, I was like Mary's sister, and I said Ron.
They were sisters.
They were sisters.
And then they were brother-in-laws.
Yes. Now, there were again, I'm going to tread carefully because it's speculation, that Paul's marriage was not a happy marriage.
No,
And there was,
they had problems
and that there,
and ended up divorced while he was in prison.
yes, because he ended up having another whole life. Like, he came out of
Yeah.
prison and didn't have anything to do with that part of the family ever again.
No.
He says it in an interview.
Yeah.
So I'm not speculating on that part of it.
Right.
Family rumor is there was a lot of jealousy.
Yes.
And that Mary and her sister, there was not a lot of love lost between the two of them. Again, that's the speculation. So, and maybe I'm giving away where I'm going with this. There would be a motivation to go, you're not as, because one of the things that they
you're
said,
not
the letter
as good
said,
as you think
you're
you
not
are.
Miss Goody Two Shoes. Your husband's in on this.
So you
You're
believe
not...
the co-conspirator was Mary's sister?
I do.
I 100% do. And I think
do.
it was an easy way to get rid of her husband and if you don't like your sister already, who cares?
Well, I'm going to give you another wrinkle.
Okay.
I think their son was involved.
Really? Now the son is something I never even like.
I think the son was involved with mom. I'm not going to get into
her side on.
I think it was a whole family conspiracy in the beginning.
Okay.
All of them were involved.
Okay.
I think the whole family was involved. I don't think it ever intended to take a turn to murder or attempted murder on Paul's part.
No.
I think anecdotally, the information that I saw, the son was even having a rough life with mom. Mom was very controlling from what I could read. Again, it's speculation. I'm not throwing it out there as fact. I'm just sharing what my thought is.
Right.
I think husband and wife were involved to go after sister/sister-in-law and brother-in-law because they seem to have this greater than
this perfect life.
This perfect life, and she's cheating on you.
Oh, now we should mention that Mary did, she claims after her husband died,
yes,
she did have a sexual relationship with the superintendent.
With Macy.
Claims after her husband's death. So I can't say that that's not true because that is what she claims. And
they both did. By the way, they both did. And
anything else would be speculation.
Yeah.
But she did eventually have a relationship.
Prior to it, they said we were not involved. They denied it from the beginning. But yes, at some point, they did become involved with each other.
But even a lie has to have a spark of truth.
So, yeah.
And maybe it wasn't a sexual relationship. Because
they were just too friendly.
Let's be real. Cheating doesn't have to require sex.
Right. No, you're at 100%. Or they just seemed to be too friendly.
Yeah.
Maybe a little
flirty.
Flirtation. Again, not good. None of that's good.
And if you're the other sister, you go, oh, you think you're so perfect and you're so good.
Well, my marriage sucks.
Yeah.
My marriage is bad. My marriage is not good. My marriage is,
exactly.
I got these issues. Because remember, the letters took tones of like, you're not as good as you are. Remember, it's this righteous avenger.
I'm going to prove to the world that you are not who you claim to be.
You say you are. So I think that was where we went originally. I believe Paul made the phone call.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe Paul made the phone call. His brother-in-law recognized the voice. There was going to be we're going to handle this inside the family. And when that happened, and again, remember, I go back to the fact that I believe this was a
tragic accident.
Yeah, if you made me swear on a stack of Bibles, it's a tragic accident. They got lucky, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. Because someone else probably would have been put in prison for murder.
Wife went, he's a liability. What do? We got to get him out of here.
Yeah, he just did something really dumb.
And she set him up. And she went, I'm not getting along with my sister. It's a great way to get her out of the picture.
Yeah. I can get rid of her and the husband that I'm having problems with all in one blow.
Yeah. Yep.
I was going to say one shot, but I thought that might be a little too insensitive.
The son's story, from what I saw, I'm not going to get into it, ended tragically.
Mm-hmm.
From what I see, he is deceased.
Yeah.
And the rumor is that there was guilt involved. I don't know. I don't want to say that I know that, but I think he probably was part of it, because from all the indications are that it was a very rough household.
Yeah.
So I think she took the opportunity to go, he's got this gun. He ain't going to work today. She set him up, because the letters also changed to, when we set you up, it sticks. He gets divorced in jail. Yep. He's divorced in prison. Life starts all over. What do you need to send letters for anymore? The people involved, their lives are ruined.
Now here's the only weird thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why would you keep sending the letters once he's in prison? Because to me it would say, well, clearly he's not. It wasn't him. It's just yeah. I mean, you really have to be in where you are you're so invested at this point, or like you said, you're obsessed, psychopathic, that it's really kind of weird. Like, so if I'm gonna frame you, Tony, and you go to prison, I'm gonna be done. Like, I've already done what I want to do. I've framed you, right? So it's really kind of it just maybe shows how sick she was. Again, all alleged. This is Tony and I theory crafting. We're not blaming anyone for anything, but it shows you how sick someone could be to continue on even after you frame the person.
They were willing to murder.
Yeah.
They were willing to attempt to kill someone.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a leap to say that I'm willing to. So I mentioned Zodiac in the very first episode.
Mm-hmm.
What did Zodiac do? He murdered people, and then he taunted the public.
Yeah, yep.
There is a weird psychological thing that seems to happen. And by the way, he is not the only one. So if you're a true crime person, there is a myriad of serial killers and criminals. And one of the things that they seem to do, let's go back to Jack the Ripper. Man, we're going all the way back centuries. They taunt the police. They taunt the public. You can't catch me.
It's like a God complex.
It's a game.
Yeah.
This is no different to me.
I mean, you and I have talked about it before. Black Dahlia, same thing. I mean, they taunted the authorities. Yeah. I mean, you're so sick, it becomes a game. It's like a God complex.
So I don't think it's unreasonable to say that they would have sent letters and gone, see, we set you up and it stuck. Because again, let's use Zodiac. His letters were, I like killing and I'm going to keep killing until you stop me.
Yeah.
And you can't stop me.
No.
We set him up. We like exposing secrets, and we set him up, and you can't do nothing about it because you got the wrong dude.
Yeah. Ha.
And so I think that's why it continued.
Yeah, it's power.
That's what it is. It's what it is.
I have this power.
So I don't know what you think of my theory. I think
no, I like it. I think we're on a similar vein. I just never really put the son. I never put him in the equation. But now that you say that, I can see, I totally can see that thought pattern. But yeah, I think for sure, Mary's sister and her husband Paul were for sure involved in this whole campaign.
And if it's true, man, what a messed up family. I feel horrible.
Oh, you think your family's messed up? No, you can't hold a candle to this family.
And even if it's not, and I think you made a good point. We're theory crafting. We're just
well,
looking at.
You know, you never. You don't want anyone coming to say that I'm accusing someone of something, because I don't know. I mean,
we don't know. This case was never solved.
So I mean,
yeah,
someone went to prison for
somebody
it.
went to prison, but we never. So if you look at what's solved and not solved, what the police would tell you was solved was the attempted murder.
Right.
What was never solved was who wrote the letters. It is the main heart of this case is unsolved. So I think when you sum it up, it's tragic in the sense that lives were lost, lives were threatened, people were threatened. Even if it wasn't Paul and his wife, there was somebody out there who for decades terrorized a family and a town and was willing to kill.
Yeah.
And that makes this so scary. But remember, in the beginning, I said, you got your conspiracies, you got your mystery, you got your true crime, you got it all. And in this case, I am not the conspiracy guy. There is a conspiracy here to be found. And when you find it, it is not a conspiracy. I think it's what happened. But again, it's my opinion. Prove me wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Share your thoughts, because we would definitely jump back into this case and look at it. So if there's a different theory that's out there, share it with us. I'd love to hear it.
This could be a reopened case. Like if we, because there's just so many strings to this whole thing, that I could see us, like the Edgar Allan Poe, when we reopened the case after I had that thought. This is one of those ones I think we could end up reopening down the road. Maybe we find something new, or someone comments on the video or the podcast something new that we could really have a conversation about.
Yeah, 100%. So please do. But this is scary. This is modern. A lot of the stuff that we jumped into is not as modern.
Right.
We're talking, Paul Freshour passed away in 2012.
Yeah. Not long ago.
Some of these people are still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Man, my heart goes out to you.
Yeah.
Like, I am sorry that you experienced what you experienced, because it's awful. And it is a scary, it's a scary thing. And especially now, man, if you think about this, at how easy this was to do in a time with mail, just mail.
I was just going to say, imagine how easy it would be to do right now.
Because we are so connected through devices and different technology. It's a scary thing, which is why, man, just be kind to each other. Mm-hmm. But I mean, this is a case where I don't know if we're ever going to get a for sure answer. This might be one of those things where maybe somebody, so we're wrong in our theories, and this person is out there, and there's a deathbed confession with evidence to a family member, and it comes out, or some breakthrough in DNA evidence on the letters that are still available, and we get some breakthrough. Like, that is all very possible. But until that happens, I don't know if this case is ever going to be fully put to bed. But man, it affected a town.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw it out there. If the person that did this is listening to podcasts, let us know. We'd love to have you on the podcast if you want to confess for finally. We'll have you on the podcast. Let us know.
And then we're going to
comment below.
Yeah,
and then we're calling the police.
Then we're but please understand, we're turning you in.
Yeah,
so
we just, I mean, if we can go viral first, that would be fine.
I will not be an accomplice.
No.
You're going to jail, if you do that. So
but
please,
we would love to have you on the podcast first.
Well, we'll live stream you getting arrested.
Yeah.
You can hear my phone call as I call the police on you.
And sadly, Bigfoot was not involved in this one.
No, Bigfoot was not the letter writer.
And that's a joke for one of our friends.
It is. It is. You know who you are.
Yeah, you know who you are.
Just a sad story, man.
It's very tragic. It's a very tragic story.
It's a tragic story. So, case closed, or maybe not. This has been the Enigma Files. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Jump back in next week with us. We'll have another fun case. And until then, y'all be safe.
Yep. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.